So far, the real estate market in 2023 has been a roller coaster ride. We started the year down 24% year over year, and there were even talks that maybe we see interest rates decrease at some point in time this year. And here we are 7 months later, prices have increased over $100,000 in my market of Durham Region, and we're talking about seeing another interest rate increase for the second month in a row. So in this video, I'm going to give you a complete update on what's happening right now in the real estate market in Durham Region. I'll give you my opinion on what you can expect to see moving forward, and we'll talk about how everything going on right now and in the future is going to affect you. My name is Jessie McLellan, and I'm a realtor here in Oshawa, Ontario with the Lisa Abbott team. If you're new to this channel, I make videos on the real estate market, especially in Durham Region and the GTA, but I also make videos to help guide people who are buying or selling a property. If you enjoy this video and want to stay up to date, then hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions about buying, selling, or just want to chat about what's happening in the market and get your questions answered, I'll include a link in the description where you can book a call with me at a time that works best for you. As I mentioned at the start of the video, the average price of a home in Durham Region at the beginning of 2023 was $886,000, which was a 24% decrease from the beginning of 2022. And since then, we've seen month-over-month increases to every statistic that would suggest the market was continuing to heat up. Part of the reason behind that was simply because of the time of year. Coming out of winter, heading into spring, it's totally normal for sales to increase and buyer activity to increase and to see a bump in prices. But the other contributing factor behind it was because of all of the pent-up buyer demand from people sitting on the sidelines at the end of 2022, waiting to see what would happen. Many buyers were wondering, would we see rate increases during 2023? Would we see prices drop further? Would rates start to drop? There was a lot of uncertainty from both buyers and sellers, so we saw a lot of people just waiting it out. But then January came and we saw a small rate increase, followed by the Bank of Canada hinting that they would pause rate hikes for the time being and observe what happened with the inflation rate. That brought back some consumer confidence, and from there we saw activity and home prices start to trend upwards again. And that brings us to where we are today. For the month of June, the average home price in Durham Region increased about $11,000 month over month to $999,787. But that doesn't tell the whole story. So here are some important numbers to look at to get an idea of where the market's at right now and where it's likely going, and then I'll give you my opinion on what we're noticing right now across Durham Region. Month over month, new listings have increased around 13% from 1,650 in May to 1,860 in June. The number of sales are down around 16%. In May, we saw 1,067 sales. In June, we were just shy of 900 sales. The sale price to list price ratio dropped 1% to 107% in June, and the sales to new listing ratio has dropped considerably from 64.7% in May to just 48.3% in June. These changes indicate we're heading into a more balanced market, and even though the overall average price for a home in all of Durham Region increased slightly month over month, we're definitely starting to notice some changes in the market that would suggest it might be starting to cool down. From the perspective of Lisa and myself, we've really noticed some discrepancies in sale prices in certain areas and price points in our market. Sales have been very hit or miss. Sometimes there isn't an obvious rhyme or reason to it. In a way, it feels similar to what we observed last year when things started to cool down. When we're pulling recent sales in an area for a client, we're really noticing some pretty big price gaps between similar homes in the same or similar areas. In some cases, we're talking about a $100,000 or $150,000 difference on a $900,000 or $1 million home. Similar to the beginning of the year, the reason we're seeing this is partially interest rate related and partially seasonal. Coming out of the spring market and heading into summer, it's to be expected that we start to see the market cool down a little bit, but I think with the June rate increase and what seems like the inevitable July rate increase, these changes in the market are a little bit more exaggerated. It will be very interesting to see how the market reacts to this next rate increase, assuming it happens, because the rate increase in June came a little bit as a surprise. Not as many people expected a June rate increase, but most people were preparing for a July increase. When an increase comes as a surprise, it can have a bit more of an immediate effect on the market, whereas the general consensus seems to be that the next announcement date on July 12th will see another 0.25% increase. So I'm really curious to see if that will have as much of an immediate effect, or if most buyers will or already have been factoring that into their buying decisions. You can leave a comment below if you'd like to share your thoughts on how the next rate increase will impact our market. So we've gone over what's changed recently, but what does that mean for you? Well, if you're selling a property in the near future, when you're making decisions and setting your expectations, you really need to know what's happening in your market at the time your home is going up for sale. In a market like this one, things can change week to week, and it's going to be important that you and your agent know exactly what's going on around you. How long are homes like yours taking to sell? How many listings similar to yours are available? What do the sale prices look like? What price are they listing at? Is there a clear discrepancy in sale price between homes that list really low versus a little bit low versus listed higher? And where are those numbers trending? That's important information to know. For the rest of July and heading into August, I would expect to see more homes coming up for sale and to see buyer activity continue to slow down a little bit more, both because of the time of year and because of interest rate announcements. When you're reviewing comparable sales with your agent to determine list and sale price expectations, if you're looking at sales that happened earlier in June and in May, understand the differences in the market during those times. Even just looking at sales to new listing ratio is a pretty good indicator that the market was a lot hotter in May because there were so few new listings coming up, but lots of buyers in the market compared to what we're seeing right now. Make your home stand out. Make sure it's leaving a good first impression. Make sure it's being showcased at its best online with marketing, staging, and photography. And most importantly, make sure you're priced appropriately, because doing it wrong and wasting a couple weeks on the market right now could backfire and hurt you on your sale price. Now, with all that said, the sky isn't falling. You just have a bit more competition with the increase to new listings and drop off in buyers. So don't panic, accept an offer that you know is way too low and not justified. And if you're purchasing another home, the nice thing is that you'll be purchasing in a slightly cooler market as well, which will be a little less stressful. For anyone who's on the buying side and ready to start their house hunt, get pre-approved and lock in a rate. Once you start viewing properties and following sale prices, you might start to notice what we've been noticing over the last few weeks, and that's the difference in the sale prices. This is what happens when the market is starting to cool down, but some people are a little bit behind it and may not have caught on to it cooling down, so you still see some sale prices that go really high and might not make total sense. You also always have people trying to buy and close before school starts like normal, but now you also have people coming to the end of their pre-approval and sort of buying under pressure before that expires, and they need to get reapproved at a higher rate, which they know is coming. So try and keep a balanced mindset. We're likely going to see things shift and continue to cool down a little bit during July and probably August as well. I'm not expecting to see any major drops in price, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them come down a little bit as we see an increase in inventory and the number of sales slowing down a little bit, which will open up some opportunities for you. If you're seeing homes online that maybe don't look like a 10 out of 10, maybe the photography is a little iffy and it doesn't have any staging, those homes can be big opportunities in a market like this, because chances are they're not seeing as much activity and you're much more likely to get a favorable offer accepted, as you likely won't have as much competition. If you have any questions for me about buying or selling a property in or around Durham Region, you can book a call with me at a time that works best for you using the link in the description. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Leave me a comment and let me know how you think this next rate hike will affect the market. And I'll see you in the next one next week. Bye!